Controls plan.
Good morning, Pat Zemer here with MagnaWave for this Tuesday edition of the MagnaWave Office Hours. We come to you every Tuesday morning at this time to answer any questions you may have with regard to MagnaWave or PEMF in general. So whether those questions are about machines, training, uses, protocols, whatever that may be, we want to be sure to answer any questions that you may have with regard to PEMF. You can place your questions here in the chat box right here on Facebook or in YouTube. I suppose you can do the same thing. You can post, because we are broadcasting to Facebook and YouTube at the same time this morning, so you can catch it in either location should you be watching or whatever, and put your questions there. Or you can send me a text to 502-599-9722. Send the text with your name to 502-599-9722, and I'd be happy to give you a call at that point and have a conversation with you or answer your question either way. Just let me know. I certainly want to answer any questions that you may have. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to try to refresh this to see if I can see the questions as they're coming up. So let me pull it up here. It takes just a second to get up to the new post. Here it is. We're live now. There we go. So if you have a question, simply put it in there and hopefully I'll be able to see it. If not, Chris is here with Tony, and they'll make sure that I get the questions so we can get those answers out to you. Okay, a couple of things that have been questions that have been thrown out or discussed over the past week that I want to kind of cover here if we can before we get going too much farther. Oh, don't forget, MagnaCon's coming up next week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week, MagnaCon. We'll have a great time. We'll have live horse demonstrations, live small animal demonstrations. We'll have human demonstrations, certainly, and conversations and training on all of those areas, human, small animal, and equine or large animal, if you will. Dr. Marty will certainly be here. We'll have a viewing of the horse doc Wednesday night.
Dog doc.
Dog doc. Well, yeah, it's not the horse doc. It's the dog doc. I get even confused. Anyway, the dog doc Wednesday night. Dr. Marty's new documentary produced by Cindy Meal and Cedar Creek Productions did very well at the Tribeca Film Festival and will be in theaters soon. But we're having a screening Wednesday night. So if you're in the area within 100 miles or so, whatever that may be, and you'd like to come join us Wednesday evening, the screening is free. But you do need to call and let us know you're coming, so we have the seating is limited. But if you'd like to come and learn a little bit about MagnaWave, see some of the machines, visit with the folks that are here, and see the dog doc, you can do that Wednesday night. That's next Wednesday night here in Louisville. If you have information you'd like to get about that, it's online here on our Facebook page. It's on our website, magnawavepemf.com. And certainly you can call the office and they'd be more than happy to get you some, make sure you got space for the tickets if you'd like to come join us. MagnaCon Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. We'll have a good time. We go to Churchill Downs, so if you'd like to come, there's still some availability of some tickets if you'd like to come join us here in Louisville for MagnaCon. Okay, also, so to that, let's see, the question is anxiety. Where to treat and the best attachment. Okay, anxiety or stress or anything like that is a situation to where you want to feel better, you want to be calm. Well, certainly you can treat the upper shoulders and the head area if you want to approach it from that perspective. But what we've learned over the years, to use this device to put the large coil on your back or up on your shoulder, however you may want to place it, or across your low back, wherever it may be, when you receive a treatment, it's actually very relaxing. The blood is flowing better, you have good oxygenation in your blood, so everything's taking place. We're enhancing how your body is handling your blood flow and how it's moving through your body, and so that produces a sense of well-being. It just does. And so that's why in a lot of cases this has been very effective for people who have anxiety or have depression, that just by treating them, having good blood flow, good oxygenation, makes them feel better. If they feel better, they don't have as much anxiety, or their depression is lessened, or they can better deal with the stresses of the day. And so that's really kind of how it's involved. Now, when we get specifically into areas of strokes or depression where we want to have good oxygenation and good blood flow into the head, we have placed coils right on the head area or the back lower portion of the head to stimulate that area to get good blood flow, good oxygenation into the head, which does quite often has the same type of sensation of well-being, more comfort, better stamina to deal with the stresses of the day. So to best answer that question, best attachment would be really anything, but typically the larger loop to cover more area. If, let's say, you put it over the head and you're doing the shoulders here on your upper body, and the shoulders, you're doing the lungs, you're getting your neck, you're getting your head. So all those areas of stress that could enhance the anxiety you're feeling would be a natural place to start. Large loop over the head. Or if you have a mat, place the mat in a chair or on a massage table and lay on the mat, doing your shoulders, your torso and low back with the mat is very effective to, again, improve the oxygenation, the blood flow to the body, and then achieve the feeling of well-being that you're looking for. Great question, how to approach those particular areas. Certainly we get the question all the time, what about rods, metal in the body, rods in the back? Typically, to treat those areas, we always suggest that you treat for a couple minutes first and make sure that the person is comfortable and there's no discomfort that they're receiving, and then you go right ahead. We've had virtually no issues if someone has rods, plates, knee replacements, whatever the situation may be, to take care of those types of things. So that is not a situation. Want to send out a call out to Jason Bill, who's in the hospital, I think, as of this morning, to have some more work done on his knees and on his knee. And so hopefully, Jason, if you happen to be watching us this morning before you get things going, good luck to you. You're certainly in our thoughts and our prayers, and I hope everything goes well, and we look forward to you being with us and responding. And as we do, you've been participated in these programs on many different occasions. So keep your thoughts out for Jason Bill as he heads down into the medical things that he's needing to do with his knee, I believe. So Jason, hang in there, buddy. We're thinking about you. Okay, can you address using PEMF for beauty, anti-aging, wrinkles, cellulitis, and so forth? Okay, we first were exposed to this device and this type of therapy at an anti-aging conference in Florida. And so that's the natural question. How is it used in an anti-aging environment, or keeping you healthy environment as you age? And certainly arthritis, joint pain, back pain, those types of things that are really debilitating to people, if we can help those situations be less discomforting, then we can find some success. And that's what they were doing. They were doing shoulder, arthritis, those types of issues in an anti-aging environment. They were also, and we've used it a lot for this, and this is an interesting conversation as we move forward, is that you could take the coils and hold them up to your face and treat yourself 10 or 15 minutes a day on a very low setting, to where you might feel some very moderate twitching in your face, around your eyes. Because what it does is it kind of goes in there, stimulates those cells, improves the oxygenation in those cells, it improves the plumpness, if you will, of the cells, so it can have a result of reducing the indentations or the wrinkles in the face, and give you an anti-aging effect from that. Now, with that said, this is not something that you can jump out and grab this coil and put it up to your face, and in 30 minutes you all of a sudden look 10 years younger. No, that's not the case. But if you did it regularly, if you do it 3-4 times a week, and you do this, it just has a massaging effect on your facial muscles, and as I was talking about, the oxygenation and appearances and comfort has improved with folks. Now, to that end, for years I know that we have used our various devices in not only the animal world but in the human side for scar reduction. It keeps scarring from happening as much. If you have a surgical or you have a wound and there's a potentiality of a scar, it keeps the scarring down, helps control that better. And so there you go. If you have some, let's say, plastic surgery or some things done to your face or hands or whatever it may be, the application of this for blood oxygenation and blood flow reduces the inflammation, which reduces the pain associated with those types of things that you're doing with regard to plastic surgery or whatever it may be. And it speeds the healing process with better oxygenation, better blood flow. The healing takes place more rapidly. The pain is reduced as a result of these types of procedures. And so it's very effective from that. So it can help after surgery, and it can be used to enhance the blood flow and the circulation in the face. I know that over the years using it with my hands on the coils, I've got very little, if any, arthritis in my hands compared to other members of my family who deal with it. And it's just been a situation that I've been around the device a lot, and so my arthritis is not an issue in my hands. So that's how the device can be used for wrinkles, cellulite, if you're working those areas of the body. I've been doing some experimenting with Dr. Randy. He makes light therapy devices, and so I've been playing a little bit using his light device to where you can place it somewhere on your body, on your love handles or wherever you may want to be. And what it does is it shrinks the fat cells. It basically turns a fat cell into like a raisin. So the stuff that's in the fat cell comes out, gets into the system. The cell decreases in size, so which can lead to reduction of size of your waist or whatever it may be. And then we use the PEMF, we use the MagnaWave to massage the area, to push all of that to the lymph system and out of the body. And it's really cool how that works. And they've been doing that for a long time with various devices with vibration, to where they would use the light therapy to shrink the cells and then use vibration to move the extract or the stuff that comes out of the cells, the fat that comes out, to move it out of the body. We're now experimenting and trying it with the MagnaWave PEMF, and the results are very interesting, and it's working to show that does work. So look for, we'll be talking about that more as we go on, but there's a lot of things coming that we will be talking about. But the device is used quite a lot in anti-aging situations, and that's an area that we're expanding into. Dr. Amanda is working with us to move more into the cosmetic area, if you will, to help with pain and inflammation and that type of problem that exists after those types of procedures. Okay. Then there was a question about the settings on the Wave Pro, or the Vesta Duo machine, as we're now calling it, from 1 to 5 on the settings, how that compares with the Semi. And the question was, they don't think that it's the same on the low settings. And what I'm going to do, just to really get to the bottom of that question, is I'm going to take our Gauss meter and I'm going to measure the Semi 5 and the Semi 3 and the HML, if you will, the high, medium, and low, as compared to the Vesta Duo, the Vesta Duo, and provide the actual differences between the various settings, so we'll just get that question answered. Very good question. Any other questions come up here at this point that you're seeing?
Yeah, someone asked, how do they know if their machine needs to be recalibrated?
Okay, that's a very good question. The electrodes on the analog machines are actual electrodes or rods that the spark jumps between the two electrodes. Now, it's a couple of things can happen. Those electrodes can wear, to where the maybe the tip is a little uneven or whatever it could be, which could cause the signal to be a little erratic. The signals on those types of devices can be erratic anyway, but so if your machine, number one, if you turn your machine all the way down and you still hear it, that means that it's probably a little out of calibration. If you turn your machine all the way up and it goes off, that can mean that the rods are too far apart because of wear. That can mean they need to be recalibrated so they're at the proper distance when it's on a higher setting, that they can still work. It is conceivable, the way some people or the way you use your machines, if you use your machine if you're treating knees and ankles and feet, whether it's on people or small animals or horses, you're going to run it higher longer, which means you could have a wear factor that's a little more aggressive than a normal usage on moderate or low types of settings that could have it need to be recalibrated. So if it is changed, I mean, if your machine is all of a sudden changed the way it's clicking, maybe it was not, I don't want to say dropped, but in and out of cars, moved around so things can potentially come loose and need to be retightened or put back into the proper calibration, if you will. So if there's been a change, what I recommend, if you have a machine and you're concerned, well, how is it going, how is it firing, to take a video of the machine operating, and start it low and turn the machine up with the video running and let it sit at maybe a 2 or 3 minute video to where we can hear it at a low setting, a medium setting, and a higher setting, and then send us that video. Send it to Lee here at the office, or it'll get directed to me or the people that are in our areas of service, and we'll listen to it, and we can tell pretty much by listening if it needs to be recalibrated, and then we can work with you to get it to the proper source to be recalibrated and fixed, so it's in the best condition that it can be for you as we move along. So that's where we are. Great question on the recalibration, how you can tell. The best way is to send us a video, let us have a look at it, and we'll do that. Okay, we did get a message here. Let's call it up. Call the folks here. Okay, let's see who we've got.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. This is Pat Zemer.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Do you have a question for me?
You know what? I just texted the number because it said text your name, but no, I really don't have a question.
Oh.
I'm just watching. Sorry.
Well, no problem. It's nice talking to you.
Yes, I hopefully will see you at MagnaCon. Thank you.
Look forward to it, Jennifer.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Yep, bye.
There you go. Well, if you have a question, please feel free to text your name, and I'll call you back to 502-599-9722. Be happy to do that. Do you have another question?
Yeah, we do. Someone asked about the difference between AmpCoil and MagnaWave. They said Elaine has maybe mentioned it before, but wanted to get the differences there.
Okay, great question. The AmpCoil, a couple of things. The AmpCoil bases some of their therapy on the basis of sound. So they produce sound frequencies that could be received by the body that are said to be beneficial to the body for calming, for pain relief, whatever that situation may be. And then they have at the same time a very low power milligauss. And so maybe and I don't know this, so I don't want to say something wrong, but very low Gauss, Gauss less than 50. Our lowest power machine is the B2, which produces 500 Gauss at a treatment time. So most of the low power machines operate in the 35 and 50 Gauss levels, and the AmpCoil has PEMF produced at a very low voltage, low frequency setting, which can be comforting and be beneficial, but for the healing process typically takes longer. What our devices do with higher power, high voltage, low frequency signals is to give you the result of pain relief and inflammation reduction very fast or quickly. Quite often after one session you have a pain change. Maybe your pain was a 10 and it's at a 5. Maybe your pain was at a 7 and it's at a 3. So that's what the higher power machines bring you, is the speed of relief. The low power machines provide a good magnetic signal to enhance your healing process, but not as fast. And so that's where it goes. Our machines can be adjusted down to a level of 100 to 200 Gauss to give you that low setting, if that's what you're looking for comfort purposes, or you want to leave it on longer, whatever the situation may be. In some cases, we were talking about anxiety a few minutes ago. If you put a machine on a lower power, but you're on it for a 30-minute or a 50-minute period of time, it is again very relaxing to the body. You don't need all the power to achieve that type of situation. But the AmpCoil is a frequency sound-based delivery system that also uses magnetic therapy or PEMF therapy to enhance what they're doing. And that's the basic differences between the two devices. MagnaWave is speed and healing. Those devices are comfort, sound, frequency, and with the prospect of healing. And so can they be used in concert? Sure. Is it a situation that depends what your needs are and how you're using it as to what is the best device for you to use. But that is the primary difference. It's a low power, low voltage, low frequency device, much like some of the other devices. Magnetic output, very similar to what the Beamer is. Beamer operates at about 50 Gauss, 35 to 50 Gauss. The QRS 2000, some of the other devices also operate in that area, not in the higher Gauss figures like we get to with the MagnaWave device. And again, the MagnaWave device is totally controllable, so you can go all the way down to 100 Gauss or 200 Gauss for the session, up to the height that it will go to, which varies depending on which attachments you're using at that time. So good question, and I hope that was sufficient to get your question answered. 502-599-9722. If you have any questions, simply send me a text. I did receive a question here via text. Can treatment be done if the prostate is sore? Well, the prostate is sore because there's inflammation and it's causing some pain in the area. And I can tell you from personal experience that I've had a lot of severe prostate inflammation and some markings on my prostate that they were very concerned about, and we did biopsies and all of that. But I used it during the whole process daily, in fact twice a day. And there have been folks that have come in and basically sit on a coil using the low power machines as well as the high power machines. You don't sit on that coil with a high power machine and turn the machine up. It's not comfortable. So you would certainly use a lower setting on the devices, but simply if it is sore, it's inflamed, and can you use it to help take that inflammation away, to help comfort the area? I would certainly always check with your doctor if you have concerns about that, but a lot of folks have used it and said that they felt better, had good inflammation reduction, and doctors were happy with what is going on. You always, certainly, if you've got what you think is prostate issues and you're going to treat it with whatever device you're going to use and not go to the doctor, no. Not a smart thing to do. Always work with your doctor, know what's going on. When I went in for a physical, and my doc said, well, your PSA is high, you need to go to your urologist. I went to the urologist. He did his check physically, and which wasn't any fun, but did other checks, did an MRI, did a ultrasound, didn't like what they saw at all. I had about an 8-week period from the time that I went to the urologist till the time when they did the biopsy. And when they did the biopsy, the inflammation was tremendously reduced. Whatever was there was dead, and it was benign. And that's now 3 years ago. I go each year. Actually, I get a physical twice a year, and I go to my urologist once a year. And 3 years later, everything is good, and he's happy and tells me to continue to do what I'm doing. And so that's what I did personally with prostate issues. And there's a lot of things. You can go to the website and look at testimonials where there are some other types. You can go to the MagnaWave PEMF International Education and Research site and put in the question, and you can search that particular group. It's on Facebook, the MagnaWave International PEMF Resources and Education. I may have the words a little out of sync there, but it'll take you there, and you can physically search. On the left-hand side of the page, there's a little spot you can put in a term that you're looking for, and anything that's been posted about those types of situations will come up, and so you can learn and get your questions answered. Also, you can go to the AOPP, which is the Association of PEMF Professionals. The site is live. People are coming on board as PEMF professionals to have themselves on the map, so you can see where people are all around the country, depending on the types of PEMF therapy they are providing. So you can go there and you can search for indications there as well, how PEMF has been used for a myriad of different things, and that is PEMFprofessionals.com is the website. PEMFprofessionals.com. It's on the screen there, so you can go there, and if you're a practitioner, you can join the group and learn and grow together and have the credentials and do continuing education through AOPP, or you can use that site as a place for good information and knowledge about PEMF in general, and it covers all kinds of devices. The group is together to help bring some normalization to the industry, testing-wise, description-wise, that whole type of thing. We're having a situation now in New York with the New York Racing Commission and the Gaming Commission and the Veterinary Council, and they have just a lot of questions, and they're looking for, because you go to different websites, you see all kinds of different things, different powers, and so they're looking for, tell me where I can go to get a good answer that covers all the bases, and that would be the Association of PEMF Professionals, and those of us who are joining that association as distributors to put the information out there so we're all on the same page. I personally support that because I think it's great for the future of the industry and what we want to do and need to do as this continues to grow, how people better utilize it. It seems like, I don't want to say every day, but there are now 5 or 6 devices FDA approved for various indications and diseases, and they're certainly we are participating to have our devices, the digital devices, or CE approved in Europe. And John, if you're watching, I'll make the phone call this morning and get right back to you and as to what the latest is. I talked to Mike yesterday, and here's exactly what they said. Mike says, "Where's my letter?" And they say, "Well, you should have had it, but we don't know where it's at." And Mike says, "Well, I don't have it. Please send it." So now they're at this thing. Instead of just sending another letter, they're all talking about, well, you should have it. And so anyway, that's where that's at. But so there are people moving down the road to have devices that are FDA cleared, and I would like to go into that a little bit too, because that's a question that quite often comes up. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Where do I have it? Here we go. All right. So there are questions about what is required for FDA approval. What is required? What makes a device? People say, well, how do you sell this device? How do you market this device? That's a question in New York. They're taking the position, some people are taking the position that where you have to be a doctor to do this, or you have to be a vet tech to do this, or you have to do that. Well, you can go to Walgreens or CVS and buy little magnetic devices, or you can buy TENS devices. You can buy heat devices to produce heat and all this type of stuff. You can buy massage items to massage and vibrate and all this type of stuff off the shelf. And those devices are there because they are devices that have low to moderate risk for the patient and or the user. So that's considered a class 1. They often put the terminology behind it, off the shelf type of device, meaning that you can do it. And it's a device that is typically non-invasive. You don't have to do anything to the body to utilize it. It doesn't do anything that is harmful or dangerous to the body, and so it's a class 1 device. A class 2 device is a device that has a moderate or a higher risk to the patient. Maybe there are needles involved, or maybe the way it's applied is more invasive. So it is termed a class 2 device. And then class 3 device are devices that have a high risk to the patient or the user. So they regulate those more so they understand what's happening. And so class 1 devices, you can be in that category. You notify the FDA that you're manufacturing these devices or you have these devices available. They're aware of that. If they don't fit, if they don't move out of that category of non-invasive, so on and so forth, then they're okay. It's today, 47% of medical devices fall under the category, and 95% of these devices are exempt from the regulatory process. And that's where a class 1 device comes in. Now, that doesn't mean that you can have a class 1 device and diagnose. That doesn't mean, so you don't do that. And as practitioners, we recommend that people don't do that. Doctors can use devices and diagnose. Doctors can look at you and diagnose because that's their training and that's what they do. So that's what a class 1 device is. It is non-invasive. It doesn't cause any problems. There is no high risk of danger or anything happening. People have just all kinds of things that competitors say about all kinds of products, whether it's a laser or a PEMF device, a massage machine, whatever it may be. Competitors want to say things that make people frightened of various devices. And to that end, you can go back and look at history. If we've had devices in this country or supplements that people manufacture or things that are used that are dangerous, the FDA finds out and they make you stop using them. They come in and they have the authority to do that in the United States, is to regulate the safety of the people with regard to supplements and medical devices and non-medical devices and all of that. So that's where it falls. Our device falls into the class 1 medical device category as being non-invasive and very low risk of any issue with the people, with the users, just like you find when you go to Walgreens or somewhere to purchase some type of device to help you. And so that's where it's at, just to try to clarify that. People ask those questions all the time. So why would we go to the FDA to have a device approved or used CE approval for use in Europe or that type of thing? Well, if you want to bill insurance, then you need to be FDA cleared. But that doesn't mean that the insurance company is going to pay for it. It just means that you have done the due diligence to show that it works on a specific area. There are devices that are cleared by the FDA that in their description it says this is similar to this device and it's not to be used for medical conditions, it's to be used for comfort or relaxation or whatever. Okay, that can still be a cleared device. Does that mean that that device is going to receive insurance reimbursement? No, but the FDA does set up the guidelines for insurance, for how things are used, and so forth. So that's where the interest comes in. With our situation, with the 3 studies we're doing, University of Miami, and these, you can go online and search these studies, University of Miami, in Florida, arthritis or osteoarthritis is what we're doing there. The Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit, a study on venous wound healing, open wounds that you want to try to close and heal more rapidly. And then at the Palm Beach Veterans Hospital in Los Angeles, California, is not venous wound healing, bed sores and those types of things, to keep bed sores from occurring by having good circulation and good blood flow in the body, where people who are in a bed or in a confined situation where they can suffer from bed sores, or if someone gets bed sores, you can treat the area to help them heal more rapidly. That's a huge problem with bed sores. Once they're there, it's very difficult to control that situation because you don't change what's going on. They can't get out of bed and sit or not be in that situation. They're confined to these type situations, so they get bed sores, chair sores, whatever can develop from those types of things. And this type of oxygenation and blood flow can help those things. So those are the areas that we're working on with our devices for the FDA usage, and that will help in marketing our devices around the world, basically. So that's where all that comes in. Kind of a long dissertation talking about the class 1 devices, but I just wanted to be clear in what that is. If you have a question about that, simply put it in the chat box. Text me your number. I'd be happy to discuss it with you further if you'd like to do that and have that type of conversation. We've been on about 40 minutes now, so if you have other questions, please put them up there, and I'd be happy to address them. Anything else, Chris, coming up? Okay, it's kind of quieting down a little bit. So again, MagnaCon's coming up next Wednesday. Great opportunity to come to Louisville, and my goodness, come to Louisville, go to MagnaCon, then go down and see the Bat Factory, the museum, the Owsley Brown Foundation Museum that changes their exhibits all the time. Go to the Louisville Bat. Muhammad Ali Museum is here. Go on the Bourbon Tour. My gosh, there's so much to do in Louisville, in the heart of the United States. We're within 80%, 200 miles of 80% of the population. Come on down, learn about MagnaWave, enjoy some good time, go to the racetrack with us and have a good evening of racing. And then Friday night we're going to have a gala where we'll have some music and entertainment and so on and so forth, and have a good time while we're getting to meet other PEMF practitioners. Great place to come and learn. No obligation if you want to come and learn. So come on down and meet me and say hello. I'd love to meet anybody that it's exciting to me to be here, and once in a while we have this conversation. But well over 1,200 practitioners now, not including private sales of machines to individuals or businesses or whatever, for whatever their use may be, but 1,200 plus practitioners, an impact of over $60 million a year on the economy and how people are being successful. So we're excited about that. That really gives me a charge to think about how far we've been able to come to help people be successful in their businesses, to help people find the health and wellness that are looking for, whether they use it on themselves or in their business or whatever it may be. So it's always exciting and always fun, and MagnaCon's a great place to come and catch up on that and learn from truly professionals. And it's humbling to me. Again, I'm not trying to get personal here or anything, but it's very humbling to me because in the beginning, when we started, I was one of just a few people in the United States dragging these machines around, beginning to treat horses and small animals and jockeys and riders and so forth, and to see it to where it's moving, the momentum that is there. Certainly a lot of competitors today, which is fine, but to see it go back in the beginning when I was the only one answering questions. Now I sit back and I look at our bank of I'll follow Facebook or I'll look what's going on, and someone will ask a question. There'll be 4 or 5 answers on there before I can even get on to answer, and I don't need to get on an answer because the practitioners are doing such a fine job. And that's one of the things that we have. If you come into our family and become a practitioner or just want to use it for your own business or your own use with your family, you can go into these groups and ask questions. This is what I'm doing. I want to treat this. How do I do this? How do I do that? And the people are there, and again, it's mind-boggling to me, the answers and how deep people are getting into the research and how they're using these devices, these MagnaWave PEMF devices for health and wellness. Okay, let's see. Any other questions that are popping up? I'd be happy to take a look at them. No other texts at this point. Be happy to answer them if you have them, but it looks like we're kind of slowing down, about 10 minutes till here. So if you have questions, simply email them to us. You can call the office and give them to Lee, and they'll see that I get them, or Elaine gets them when she's going to have her webinars or future office hours. So we'd happy to answer those questions. It's always a pleasure. What are we up to today? How many people were with us?
I'm trying to get the totals across everything.
Trying to get the total. Ooh,
I'd say probably
that could be
30-ish or so. I mean,
pleasure. What do we got? Oh.
We've got a couple channels going.
Good, couple channels going, so that's good. It's always fun to see people joining us. Thank you for being here. So I'll be back next Tuesday to answer any further questions that you have or discuss any questions that you'd like to discuss. It's been a pleasure being with you today. I'm Pat Zemer from MagnaWave. Have a great day. Wave on, healthy waving, and have a good one. Thank you. Bye-bye.